Hey everyone, welcome back to the CWA How-To series. My name is Carson Odegaard.
And I'm Kevin Vella.
And today we're going to do a little turkey vest dump.
I'm going to start out with all the pockets on front. Typically that's where you're going to want to have a lot of things that are easily accessible when you're out there. Typically your calls, shells, ammunition, that sort of thing. So with this pocket, I've got my vertical pocket, I've got diaphragm calls, I've got a couple different strikers for pot calls.
So what's the reason you would have different strikers in your vest?
So different strikers make different sounds. So there's two different types of wood on those strikers. One's a harder wood, one's a softer wood. In between the two, the harder wood's gonna have like a higher pitch versus the softer wood's gonna be a little bit softer. So it's gonna be when you wanna be closer to birds, you don't wanna blow them out. You wanna have that softer striker available there. Also, sometimes we've got a bird that's hung up. You just wanna make a different noise. Sound like a different type of hen. That might be something that's going to get them to actually come instead of just being hung up. The one other thing I have in there is chalk. That's for the for my box skull, which I'll go over here in a minute.
So some things in one of my front pockets, we're going to kind of bounce back and forth and share. We might have some of the same stuff, we might have different stuff, so we'll see what ends up coming out of my vest and Kevin's vest. So pot calls, these are for our strikers. So I actually have a couple different types, and the type of material that's on the top will also give you different sounds, and it will also work in different weather conditions such as rain or if it's dirty, kind of that sort of thing. So that's why we'd have multiple in our vests at once.
Yeah, so like Carson, I've got a slate call, I've got a glass call, and then popping over to this side, I've got my box call. Again, got to have that nice and handy.
So also in my vest, I have a little scratch pad. This will help scratch up your pot calls. Sometimes you need them to be rough to make the actual turkey sound. So they'll get kind of smoothed out over time, so you can re-scratch them up using these little Scotch-Brite pads.
Yeah, and I've also got one that's similar, that's for a glass call. It's actually a little piece of sandstone, and it does the same thing, but for a glass one right there.
So I'm gonna dive into some of my other pockets really quick. One of the things that I'll carry with me all the time is a face mask. So turkeys have very, very good eyesight. You're gonna wanna have a face mask to cover up the color of your face. Another thing that I have in my vest is shooting sticks. These help for multiple ways. So if you're turkey hunting, a lot of times you'll be sitting in a position for a long time where it's hard to hold your gun up for that long. So these will help alleviate some of the weight of your gun. These will also be crucial if you have a youth hunter. This helps out a lot for them to be able to hold that gun in the same position for an extended period of time.
Yeah, the other side of the inside of my vest, I have toilet paper, very handy. And I've also got a couple of locator calls. One's an owl hooter, as well as a crow call.
So what would they do with the locator call?
So locator calls are very useful in trying to locate toms during the springtime, because they will typically gobble any loud noise. You get a really loud noise out there, boom, you're gonna get them to gobble, but you're not necessarily calling on a turkey call. So if you have a turkey that's close that you don't know is there, and you're actually calling on a turkey call, sometimes they're gonna come too quick and you're not gonna be prepared to get down and hide. Whereas if you have a locator call, you can just hit that, they're gonna gobble, and you're gonna know how close they are.
Awesome. Something else I'll have in my bag is sunscreen. Usually during the springtime when you're hunting, it can be really hot and sunny out. So sunscreen, I don't have it in my bag right now, but I'll carry on me bug spray or a thermocell. That'll keep all the mosquitoes off that you get normally in the springtime. And we'll also usually spray our clothes with permethrin, which keeps the ticks off. So a lot of times in California, you're walking through grass in the springtime, you get those ticks. So if you have permethrin, you can spray your clothes beforehand, and it will keep the ticks off you.
Another thing I have is ammunition. It's very important to have.
In California, we have to have non-toxic ammunition, so no lead shot. Shears, if you are in a hunting situation, you need to cut some brush, maybe to give yourself a better shooting lane or to build a blind. Shears are a good thing to have with you.
I also carry a rangefinder. So these are helpful if you sit down, you get ready, you can range a bunch of trees around you, know where everything's at, give you some landmarks for when a bird's coming in, what your effective range is at, and how close you're going to be. Sometimes if you're field hunting versus in the timber, depth perception could be a little hard to gauge. So this is really nice to have on hand as well.
One thing that does come with the vest that I have is these orange markers. So if you are lucky enough to harvest a bird and you're walking out with it, it's always good to have something bright on that bird. So if you're in a public area, nobody mistakes you for a turkey walking through thick brush. Orange markers right here really help out.
Another thing I have is I don't have a turkey decoy in my bag, but I have a turkey decoy bag. And like Carson was talking about, the safety of having something that is fluorescent or bright on a bird you're bringing out. Well, if you've got a turkey decoy you have in your bag and you've got a turkey head sticking out, someone could potentially mistake that for a live bird. So whenever you're transporting decoys, it's always good to have them in a bag.
One thing that does come with most vests, but I'll kind of point it out, is a seat. So if you have a vest or just kind of any backpack, a lot of times when you're turkey hunting, you need to sit down for long periods of time. And a lot of these vests will come with seats. But if you don't have a vest and you're using a backpack, make sure to bring something to sit on, because you will get sore sitting in the same position for potentially hours on end.
And also in the morning, the dew on the grass, it could be wet, so it's good to have something there as some type of moisture barrier. Going along the same lines as the rangefinder, having a set of binoculars, that's really handy, and being able to scan fields and through the timber looking for birds, other hunters.
So I am out in my bag, so keep going on yours.
All right, I got a few more things here.
Yeah, you keep dropping them off the table.
That's one other cool thing that I like to have is I've actually got the tip of a wing, and so this is nice in the morning as you're sitting out there, you're getting in a spot in the dark, and you hear a bird that's calling on the roost or gobbling on the roost, and you want to act like a hen that is pitching down out of a tree, so that when that turkey hears that sound, he's going to want to come to that hen. So I'll typically set up in the morning, I'll make a few soft calls, and then I'll go up against the tree and I'll just like a turkey essentially flying down out of the roost. But I think that's it for me.
Thanks for watching this turkey vest how-to video. Find our other how-to videos on our YouTube channel as well as cowwaterfowl.org.